Tejasvinavaditamastu mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Verses 7 to 11 of chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita.
Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadau visrajamyaham prakritim swamavashtabhya visrajami punah punah Bhutagramamimam kritsnam avasham prakritirvashat nacha mam tani karmani nibadhnanti dhananjaya udasinavadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu Mayadhyakshena prakritihi Suyate sacharacharam Hetunanena kaunteya Jagadviparivartate Avajananti mam mudhaha Manushim tanumashritam Param bhavamajanantaha mama bhuta maheshwaram.
They are broadening your mind. You become constricted. Your mind becomes constricted, restricted as a result of your own ego. So what the ego does is that it restricts everything to a very small circle. What is that circle made up of? See, what is your ego interested in yourself? Is interested in your body, your mind, your intellect. So anyone who caters to your body and mind and intellect belong to your circle. If they don't cater to your body, mind, intellect, they are not in your circle. So the circle created by your ego, you become bound within that circle. You become a captive of your ego. You're restricted. Your entire view of life revolves around this circle. That's about it. Some people, the circle could just be you. Maybe your immediate family, or maybe one friend. So the moment you become egoistic, the more and more egoistic you are, the more and more isolated you'll feel from the world. The egoistic person cuts off everybody else. They're isolated. So exactly the opposite of spiritual development. Spiritual development is to identify, to accommodate others' interest. See, we have a team of volunteers. The principle I work with the team of volunteers is, I don't know who's to volunteer. You understand? All sorts of people come. I mean, incidentally, they are very fine people, but I'm just saying as an example. You understand? All sorts of people can come. We have no control. Somebody says, I want to volunteer. I say, yes, of course. Please volunteer. So when they volunteer, One of the principles I tell my team is that we will never anybody out as a volunteer. So one thing, I've never taken anybody out as a volunteer. I've never taken anybody out as a trustee. If they want to leave, of course, they have all the freedom. That is their prerogative. But I decided, however bad that person may be, I will never leave that. I'll never ask that person to leave. You understand? So that's sort of a thing. See, you try and accommodate. Suppose somebody has a problem, call them and say, what is the problem? Tell me. Sort it out. So, oh no, no, that person doesn't take my call. Okay, fine, that's it. I'm not going to deal with that person anymore. Cut. So you keep cutting this person, blocking that person. What is it you're trying to achieve? You're just withdrawing into your ego. It's nothing but ego. So you make an effort to get on with others. It helps you to reduce your ego. It challenges your ego. I don't like the way you spoke to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean like that. You understand? So if you're too egoistic, you'll say, I just spoke. If you want to take it, take it. If you can't take it, leave. Go. You understand? So then who's going to stay with you? Nobody will stay with you. So that's the problem, is that you become restricted, 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 restricted. So what they're doing in these verses is they are expanding your mind. They are broadening your mind by taking your mind beyond mundane things. See, by talking about Brahman, by talking about stuff which you don't normally associate with, your mind is broadened. Oh my God, I didn't realize such things are there in life. I never knew anything about life. So, first time they're saying, oh, this world is pervaded by Brahman. See, they're broadening your understanding. Otherwise, your understanding is very small. It's not your fault. That's all we're exposed to. We're not exposed to anything else. Very small understanding. So in verse 4, he said, all this world is pervaded by Brahman, by the self, in the unmanifested form. So you don't see Brahman, it's unmanifest. All beings dwell in Brahman, and I do not dwell in them. And he continued the same, the next verse. Then in the sixth verse, which is where we stopped last week, he gave us a simile to illustrate verses 4 and 5. Whatever was declared in 4 and 5, to illustrate that, he's giving us a simile in verse 6. So, verse 4, you can rewrite it with the simile in verse 6. In verse 6, what was the example we saw? As the mighty wind moving everywhere rests ever in space, even so know that all beings rest in the self. So not only wind here represents air, but what we studied was all the other four elements: air, fire, water, earth. The four elements rest in space. That's the example he's giving in verse 6. Elements rest in space. So using this example, you can rewrite verse 4. How can you rewrite it? You can say, all the elements are pervaded by space in the unmanifest form. Unmanifest. You don't see space. You don't know space. It's just a concept. You don't know it. You can't contact it. So all these elements are pervaded by space in unmanifest form. All elements dwell in space, and space does not dwell in them. So instead of me, you substitute Space. All elements dwell in space, which is a fact. All elements exist in space, but space does not dwell in them. Space is unaffected by the elements. Fire can't burn space, so space cannot be affected by any of the elements. Water cannot wet space. Weapon cannot cut space. So space here is compared to what? Anyone? What is the comparison they're making?
Brahman.
Brahman. Right. Space is compared to Brahman. Like Brahman, it is unaffected by the other elements and it is a substratum for the other elements. All elements lie in space, just as the world lies in Brahman. But Brahman is cool about it. Brahman is not affected by the world. It's cool. Example here. Any doubts in the example? See, even to ask questions, you should not have ego. Ah. So, even to ask questions, you shouldn't have ego. Simply ask. If you don't know something, ask. What is it? What is the shame in it? So, how do you make sure that you don't get affected? See, what you need to do to make sure you don't get affected is shift your identification to something more permanent, something more enduring. When your identification is with changing factors, you also change. If your identification is with a fixed factor, you remain fixed. You know, when you do the balancing exercise in yoga, the instructor sometimes says, oh, find a fixed point in front of you. When you're doing the tree pose, you're managing to say, find a fixed point in front of you. Focus your attention on the fixed point in front of you. Sometimes a blank wall is there, which is a fixed point. You almost feel like putting some ink on that thing and fixing a point. There's no fixed point. Anyway, so what the instructor means is something fixed you focus on, so you will also get the balance. So where is your attention? If your attention is on changing factors, you change. If it is on fixed factor, you also remain fixed. So world cannot affect you on its own. It is your identification that makes the world affect you. Imagine an actor is asked to play a role of a psychopath. A terrible role. But he signed up because it is a lot of money in it. So he says, why not? Let me try it out. So he plays the role of the psychopath. But his identification shifts to the psychopath. He gets involved in it. He gets caught up in it. What will happen? He won't be able to sleep. You understand? Oh my God, this is what I did. He didn't do it. It's just an acting he did. But he gets so affected. Why? Because his identification is with that role. It's very difficult. These people who play the role of villains. Sometimes you wonder, how do they sleep at night? Huh? Terrible roles they play. But So the identity, if they start identifying with that character, then they get affected. So where should the identification be? Not on that character, not on that role, but on the person performing that role. I am Mr. So and so. I am Miss So and so performing that role. So your identification shifts to you, not the, then you don't get affected. Oh my God, it's a terrible role I played in the last film. I don't know. It's just that you're not affected by it because your identification is not with the role. So the question is, where is your identification? Wherever your identification is, there lies your affectation or non-affectation. You identify with your hair. Whatever happens to your hair happens to you. Huh? Hair grows 2 inches, you also grow 2 inches. Hair falls, you fall. Because your identification is with that identification, you become one with it. So whatever happens to that happens to you. Identification is with money. Money goes up, you go up. Money goes down, you go down. Identification is with honey. Whatever happens to your honey happens to you. Oh, I'm very sad today. What happened? When I thought you were fine. No, she didn't talk to me. She didn't talk to you. Be happy. You're getting peace of mind. Why are you getting affected? You know. So identification causes affectation. Wrong identification causes affectation. So shift the focus of attention. When you're watching the film in the cinema, you're watching the film so involved in the movie. Once the film is over, what do you see? A blank white screen. You say, my God, it's a movie. Why was I involved last 2 hours? Just a film. So the moment you see the permanent thing behind, you understand it's just a projection. What was I getting involved in? So any involvement is because you don't see the permanent factor behind it. You don't see something fixed. So space is the fixed factor here in this example. The other elements are all resting in space. Similarly, the Atman is the fixed factor. So shift the focus to the Atman. The principle is what? As you think, so you become. So they are making us think of Atman and Atman and Atman with the idea that you start identifying with Atman. And if you do that, you become one with Atman. Shyam,
Hari Om Bhaskarji.
Hariyo.
Verse 5, the last sentence, can you just clarify? Myself does not dwell in them. I thought Atman and Brahman, I thought all of us had that Atman in, I know it is. Can you just clarify that?
Yes. So, no, you have to read the whole sentence. See, nor do beings dwell in me, behold my divine yoga. Then he says, bringing forth and supporting beings, myself does not dwell in them. I don't dwell in beings because beings are changing.
Hmm.
Beings are affected. I'm not changing. I don't get affected. So don't associate me with beings. I have nothing to do with beings. Beings born, beings will die. I'm not born, I'm not dying. In that sense, Atman is saying, I have nothing to do with beings.
Hmm.
So even when you say, yes, Atman is there in you, where is the Atman? Is beyond you.
That's right.
You understand? It's beyond your body, mind, intellect. So at the moment, what you're calling as you is body, mind, intellect. Atman is not in body, mind, intellect. It's beyond that. So strictly speaking, Atman is beyond what people consider as me, as you. Same thing he's saying here. I am not in them. I am not in your body. I am not in your mind. I'm not in your intellect. You want to find me, come beyond that. You come beyond that, then you will find me. But I don't dwell in these things. So he's making it clear that the role of Atman is different from the role of your material equipments.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, sure.
See, the problem is we mix it. You mix it together. He says you can't mix it like that. It's like saying mixing water and fire. How can you mix water and fire together? You can't mix it together. The properties are different. It won't connect. Water and fire can't mix with each other. Similarly, matter and spirit cannot mix with each other. Spirit is different, matter is different. It doesn't mix. That is the illusion. Illusion is that you believe mixing. That is the illusion. It doesn't mix. It can't mix. They're two different. So last week we looked at the 5 elements in the order of subtlety. So what is subtle is because the least sense organs are contacting it. So which is the grossest of all the 5 elements?
Earth.
Earth.
Earth. Earth is the grossest of all 5 because all 5 organs can contact it. Space is the subtlest because only one organ can contact it. Understand? Do we have that slide? We can show them just to remind us again. Last week we looked at it. There it is. So earth, ear, skin, eyes, tongue, nose can contact it. You can hear it, you can feel it, see it, taste it, smell it. Water, 4, fire, 3, air, 2, space, 1. So subtler in the sense least organs can contact it. So Brahman is beyond space. No organ can contact it. So it's the subtlest. It's subtler than space. Okay. Next verse.
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्.
O Kaunteya, at the end of a kalpa, time cycle, all beings enter my prakriti, my nature. At the beginning of a kalpa, I bring them forth again. The beginning of kalpa, end of kalpa. So he says, end of kalpa, all beings enter my prakriti. Beginning of a kalpa, I bring them forth again. See, the language is all poetical, Bhagavad Gita is poetry, but you've got to interpret it and understand what it means. The meaning of that word kalpa, what is the word kalpa? Kalpa is one time cycle. So this time cycle is a macrocosmic measurement. Macrocosm means the universe. Microcosm means you, the individual. So you have a particular time cycle. What is the time cycle that we have? We have a day and night. We are awake, we go to sleep, the next day we are awake, then we go to sleep. So this is our time cycle. 12 hours and 12 hours, approximately. So day and night, we go through this time cycle. The same cycle happens at a macrocosmic level, at a cosmic level. So at the cosmic level, they're talking about the time cycle. So different time cycle. See, like I said, as I started the class, they're broadening. You understand? Your time cycle is, oh, this thing I have to go get up, I got to get ready, go to work, I got to do this, I got to go to bed. That's all. A very narrow, restricted vision you have. Here they're broadening. So the time cycle they're talking about here is 4.32 billion years. Slightly more than our time cycle. Slightly more. So 4.32 billion years. So that is one kalpa. So one kalpa, one time cycle, is equal to 4.3 billion years. So 4.32 billion years pass away on Earth. One time cycle passes in heaven. That's the comparison. In other words, none of us will last for one time cycle in heaven. You understand? 4.32 billion years, who is going to live? So here he says, at the end of a kalpa, end of that 4.32 billion years, all beings enter my prakriti. Prakriti here means vasanas. So all beings will go into vasana form. It's like winter. All the plants, they go underground. Then during spring, they sprout back again. They come back again. And again, winter, they go underground. Again, they come back. Exactly like that. He says 4.32 billion years, at the end of 4.32 billion years, all beings perish. All beings die. The whole creation is destroyed. It goes into sleep mode. God is a computer, puts it onto sleep mode. That's all he does. One button, sleep mode. All of us gone. All creation gone. So all beings enter my Prakriti at end of 4.32 billion years. Then at the beginning of a kalpa, so 4.32 billion years, you're going to be where? In Vasana form. The whole creation, not you. The entire creation, entire universe is stored in 4.32 billion years in Vasana form. They bring forth again. They are brought forth again. See, same principle. You are awake, you go to sleep, or 7-8 hours you sleep. Okay, then you're awake. Again you go to sleep. Same thing happens to this whole universe. Universe is awake now. Universe also has to sleep. So universe sleeps for 4 billion years. Again it wakes up 4.32 billion years. So who is going to measure this? You know, how are you going to measure this? Nobody can survive so long to measure. So it's fascinating. How did they arrive at this number? It's incredible. So end of a kalpa, time cycle, all beings enter my prakriti. Beginning of a kalpa, I bring them forth again. Who is speaking? Lord Brahma is speaking. Lord Brahma is the creator. So 12 hours of Lord Brahma is one kalpa. 12 hours of Lord Brahma is second kalpa. Is daytime. Daytime for Lord Brahma is 12 hours, which is 4.32 billion years. Night time for Brahma is 4.32 billion years. So where did this 4.32 billion years number come from? This comes from the 4 ages. When you add up the 4 ages together, you get 4.32 million years. And 1,000 times that is 4.32 billion years. So the 4 ages, what are the 4 ages? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga is the age of truth, where truth was at the highest level. We lost it long time back. That's what they're saying. Satya Yuga, truth, highest level. And then as the values reduced, the next age was born, which is Treta Yuga. Then values reduced further, Dwapara Yuga. Least values is the present age. We are said to be in Kali Yuga. When you see what's happening around, you can relate to that. It makes sense. You can feel that you're in Kali Yuga. So, see, the way they describe in the Puranas are the stories associated with the scriptures. The way they describe is a cow standing on 4 legs. So, Satya Yuga is a cow standing on 4 legs. The Treta Yuga, cow standing on 3 legs. It's lost one leg. Dwapar Yoga standing on 2 legs. Kali Yuga, it's 1 leg. How can it stand for long? It will finally collapse. The gradual deterioration of values over a long period of time. So if you add the duration of all these 4 ages, you get a Mahayuga. So see that calculation on the screen. Satya Yuga, 1,07,280,000. See, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, 1,296,000. Dwapara Yuga, 864,000. Kali Yuga, 432,000. Interesting, Kali Yuga least number, you see, only 432. But the values are in that. So that much is enough for the world to destroy itself. You don't need too much evil to destroy the world. So if you add these 4, you get the Mahayuga, which is 4.32 million years. So 1 day of Brahma, which is 1 kalpa, 1,000 Mahayugas, 4.32 into 1,000 is 4.32 billion. So Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali, 1,000 times it goes, then is 1 Mahayuga. So end of a kalpa is an extraordinary number, what they've come up with. But it's interesting. I read an article about what the scientists have come up with independently on the creation of this world, and they came up with a number when the world was created according to them. And numbers tallied with this exact calculation, very close to this. Very interesting. So, how did they arrive at this? When was the Bhagavad Gita written? Thousands and thousands of years back. How did they arrive at this? It was incredible. They had access to technology which we couldn't conceive. So it's important to protect the values. See, wherever you find some values, you've got to protect it, because over passage of time, the values can deteriorate. Even in you, it's not only in the universe, in you itself, the same thing can happen. If you don't preserve the values in you, you will lose your values. You have to keep making an effort to just maintain the values. Even if you don't increase the values, just to preserve it, you have to make an effort. So the destruction of the world, we can easily understand it today. It's not a theoretical concept anymore. It's just that nuclear weapons have to come in the wrong hands. So if people who want to destroy the world, if they have nuclear weapons today, they press the button, whole thing is gone. So it's a matter of time. We can see it. So that's the significance. Even in the Bible, they talk about the great deluge. The whole world is destroyed. And what did they do? Noah had to have that ship, the ark, and he had to collect all the creatures. All the creatures he had to collect. And all the creatures were collected in pairs. Obviously, to procreate, you need a pair, a male, female, to procreate. So all creatures were collected in pairs. The philosophical implication is world consists of pairs of opposites. What is the world? Pairs of opposites. So all creatures were collected in pairs. 2 giraffes, 2 lions, 2 tigers. The same concept is given in the Hindu scriptures as in the example of the Matsya avatar, 10 avatars of Vishnu. What are the 10 avatars of Vishnu? Starts with Matsya. Matsya is a fish because life started in water. Life started with aquatic creatures. So the first avatar of Vishnu means, where did creation start? He said it starts in water. So Matsya is the first avatar. Then Kurma. Kurma is a tortoise. So in the example, in the story of the Matsya avatar, fish, same thing happened. The fish told Manu, there's going to be a great deluge. So Bible got it from there, from that Matsya avatar. So Matsya avatar, then second is Kurma. Kurma is a tortoise. So a tortoise can be both at sea and on land. Then third is the Varaha. Varaha is the boar. See, slowly the evolution of species. So from the fish to a tortoise, tortoise to a boar, then from the boar to Narasimha, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha. Narasimha is half lion, half man. So the first three are animals. First is fish, then tortoise, then boar. Narasimha is half animal, half human, is evolved. Animals are evolving into humans. But Narasimha is not fully evolved man, half animal, half human. Then Vamana. Vamana is dwarf, is a human, but in a short form, not a fully developed human. See how gradually things are evolving. So Narasimha to Vamana. Vamana is a dwarf. And from Vamana becomes Parashurama. Parashurama is the avatar of Vishnu, where he kills all the Kshatriyas. He goes about on a killing spree. Literally, he's got an axe, he keeps killing. So it's a human being, an aggressive form of human being. It's not a really polished human being, not a refined human being. That is Parashurama. But they all avatars of Vishnu. But the origin, the evolution is given. Then Parashurama then evolves into Rama, Lord Rama. First time there is refinement that comes in. The character of Rama, so refined, so soft, known for upholding righteousness. But then Rama was too attached to righteousness, too particular about righteousness. Then they bring in Krishna, where there's a flexibility, there's fun. Rama doesn't smile. Rama is serious. A very serious fellow, Rama. Krishna, all the time fun. So fun and flexibility. So Krishna is regarded as the highest of all the avatars, where it reaches the peak. Maximum qualities, best qualities in a human being is embodied in Krishna. Everything you get in Krishna, whole package. Whether it's looks, whether it is intellect, whether it is love, emotions, whether it is anything and everything you get there. Then again there are variations. So you could say Balarama. In some versions they say Balarama of Krishna or Buddha. Buddha is a further evolution, a saintly person, fully dedicated to self-realization. No nakra, like Krishna. Huh? Krishna is a naughty fellow. Buddha are all not naughty. Buddha is very straightforward. There is Kalki. Kalki is the last. Is said to be a person riding a white horse. You see anybody riding a white horse, probably that is Kalki. Don't go and catch him and say, hey, you're Kalki, Kalki. You'll get one whack, you'll get. See, it's all symbolic. It's what they're talking about is how the evolution happened. That's all. It's not a one person they're talking about. So in Matsya Avatar, that example of the great deluge comes, which is exactly the same what is given in Noah's Ark. Yes, Shilpa.
Pranam Bhaskarji. We just saw at the start of the kalpa, at the end of the kalpa, everything goes back in a seed form, and then again it comes back. But on the other hand, when we studied in Upanishads, the word is illusion. There is nothing like that. So, which one is correct? I mean, which one to follow? On one side, Krishna says everything goes back and then again it comes in the life form, and on the other hand,
Where does it all happen? In the dream. In the dream, there is creation, there is destruction. There is creation, there is destruction. In the dream, you wake up from the dream, there is no creation, no destruction. So it depends on which standpoint you're viewing it from. So this explanation which is given is from a worldly standpoint. But when they talk about illusions, they are talking about from Brahman standpoint. From Brahman standpoint, there is no creation, no destruction, nothing. Everything is meaningless. So it's a different levels that they are describing it.
so we are dreaming.
Exactly. A fellow is dreaming, they're saying, giving one story. Yeah, you're dreaming the one full story they're giving. There is Kalpa, there is a Brahma, there is a heaven, there is Apsaras in heaven. Then you're dreaming even further when you go meet those Apsaras. You understand? All this is just stories for a person who is caught up in that illusion. When you get out of all that, you say, what? There's nothing there. It's just an imagination, just a projection. So that's the difference. You're right. When you're asking the question, you're correct. It is addressed to two different levels. So that's the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. Upanishads take off in a very different level altogether. Upanishads don't have any respect for this world. Dismiss the world completely. Bhagavad Gita at least accommodates the world a little bit. Upanishads don't even accommodate the world.
But also in present, the world is there for us, at present. We cannot deny that.
What are you asking? I don't understand. It is there because you're caught up in the illusion. If you get out of the illusion, there's nothing there. As long as you are in the dream is real. Wake up from the dream is not real.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you, Bhaskarji.
Demo, unmute ma.
Hariom Bhaskarji.
Hariom.
The the distance between the sun and the earth was measured thousands of years ago by our rishis.
Okay.
And now the scientists say that that was almost quite correct.
Okay.
And I read somewhere that our rishis were so pure that they used to meditate, and they used to take their soul up and could measure with that. Is that correct?
Now, how exactly they did it? It's not the soul. It's not the thing. It's the intellect. See, they had the intellect. When your intellect is developed, wherever you apply your intellect, you will be successful. So they had a very high level of intellect. Therefore, wherever they applied it, they understood that aspect of the world. So all that was destroyed because afterwards the intellect started deteriorating. So it's nothing but the clarity of the intellect. And that's why when they applied the intellect in mathematics, when they applied it in astrology, astronomy, everything grew. It's just the application of intellect.
So, Bhaskarji, when this universe is finished and the new universe comes, the rishis like what used to come were here will come back?
It's not the same rishis, obviously. I mean,
yeah.
See, what happens is whatever your vasanas are right now, the vasanas need a conducive environment for it to be reborn. So let's say you have certain vasanas and you die. Whatever is remaining, they look for a conducive environment. When that conducive environment will come, maybe 50 years, maybe 500 years. You understand? Whenever that environment is conducive, you will be reborn. So like that, whenever whatever values are preserved, when the world dies and the new world is born, at that time all these values will be manifested in the.
Thank you very much.
So some of the sages might have achieved self-realization and they would have gone, but those who are still having values, they would probably be. They will find that environment conducive for their study and learning.
Thank you.
Shrikala.
Hari Om Bhaskarji. Quick question on that Kalki Avatar. So after Kalki Avatar is done, is there another deluge expected? Pralayam?
Oh yes, Pralaya. That is the theory is that the belief.
And then the Matsya Avatar will come again, right?
No. That's what another 4.32 billion years. There won't be anything.
Okay.
So he says that at the end of a kalpa, all beings enter my kalpa. At the beginning of a kalpa, again. 4.32 billion years, nothing will happen. It'll all be barren.
Okay.
And then the whole creation will restart. Then it'll come back. Then again, it'll go down vasana form. Like winter, in whole winter, nothing comes out.
Yeah.
All the plants are down. Then again, spring, it comes out. It's like that.
Yeah. And so do we know which year, what do you call that, Mahayuga of Lord Brahma we are in? Do we know that? Like you said, no, we don't know. Okay.
Oh. So it's a huge numbers we're talking about. So how can we even... That's the question, who's to measure? Where? See, you've got to be there for the whole duration to be able to measure it. Well, how can measure the whole thing? Can't measure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
See, suppose you say, okay, I'll die, you continue the measure. Then somebody else takes it. But nobody is going to be there for 4.32 billion. It's a very long period of time to, have that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Martina?
Namaste, Bhaskarji. You have mentioned several times the evolution of the avatars, no? Which is very interesting. So now, officially, I believe Lord Krishna was the last one. But my question is, often they tell, for example, Vyasacharya, Shankaracharya, they were said also to be avatars. And in modern times, many people believe that Sri Ramakrishna also is an avatar. How is it with these, let us say, avatars, pseudo avatars, which came after Lord Krishna? Who is it that establishes that one is an avatar like Shankaracharya or like Ramakrishna? And how is there any way how to know that?
It's just it's something that the followers claim, but the principle, what you have to understand is, no self-realized person can be reborn. So if you say, for example, if a person or if the followers claim that our Guru, our Swami is the reincarnation, is an avatar of another great soul who was there in the past, what you're actually doing is you're putting down that great soul. You're saying that great soul was not a self-realized person. Because if that great soul was a self-realized person, he can't be reborn. He can't come back again.
Yeah, of course. But when they say, for example, that he was an avatar of Lord Vishnu,
No, that is the followers can claim anything.
yeah, exactly.
There is no thing in that,
very,
but
very confusing, no?
you can claim you're an avatar or somebody who can dispute anything like that. But that's why I'm analyzing for you. How do you understand? Like you're saying, who is to decide? You need to decide with your intellect and understand that avatar of Vishnu is a very different concept altogether. Is the origin of species.
Yeah.
Apart from it, whenever they use the word avatar, it's a question mark. When you're saying avatar means what? Is a reincarnation of that person. So how can a self-realized person reincarnate? It's not possible.
So I believe you also would not believe in that, no? So,
Yes. So, but having said that, there is another very small window of explanation for a person being reborn, meaning a self-realized person can't be reborn. Okay, but let's say a person is very highly spiritually developed, just short of self-realization, not self-realized, just short of it, and that person is reborn, and in the mother's womb, he goes through the experience in the mother's womb and realizes.
like
And
Vamadeva, no?
sorry.
Like Vamadeva, no?
No. Don't worry about anybody. But I'm just saying. See, even for example, Krishna, he was born self-realized. So how can you be born self-realized? If you're self-realized, you can't be born. So the significance is that during the time in the mother's womb, he needed to go through that experience to achieve self-realization. So when he comes out of the mother's womb, for all practical purposes, he's self-realized.
I see.
So technically, you can still say he's born self-realized, because he's coming out of the mother's womb self-realized.
Yes.
But the time spent in the mother's womb is not factored in. So that person needed to achieve self-realization. But it's a very, very small window of explanation that we're giving, But other than that, self-realized, the principle, but even there, we're sticking to the same principle. Self-realized person can't be reborn.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Meta. Sorry, Meta, I got to unmute.
Sorry. Hari Om, Bhaskarji. So obviously we understand that the self-realized person cannot be reborn. So am I correct to then understand that even at the end of Kalpa, at the beginning of the Kalpa, no self-realized person comes back to life?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Self-realized person is ended. Whenever the person dies, is gone. He'll never be reborn again.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So next week, we don't have a class. It's the last day of the Harrow lectures. Hopefully, I'll be able to see most of you all there. So 4 days we are covering the Sthita Prajna portion, the last 19 verses of chapter 2. So we are titling it as Qualities of Human Perfection. So it'll be very interesting. You can all come along and bring your friends along with you. And anyone you want to introduce, bring them along. It'll be a good opportunity. Karuna, sorry, Karuna had something.
Yeah, Hari Om Bhaskarji.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask, when we discussed these avatars, we saw Lord Rama comes before Krishna, but do we ever hear any philosophy from the Ramayana? And I don't see it ever being covered by, any Vedanta philosophy. Where does that fit in? Story, the Ramayana story or verses in there.
I give the example of Rama. There's so many examples I give from Ramayana.
No, we don't study any book or verses from there. So I was just wondering,
No,
is there
verses,
any philosophy in there?
No, it's like the Bhagavad Gita. It's not there in Ramayana. See, in the Mahabharata, you have the Bhagavad Gita. Like that, there is no philosophical portion in Ramayana, but the philosophy is spread throughout the epic.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
May I ask, Bhaskarji?
Yes, please.
I wanted to ask how. Sorry, somebody else is talking.
Somebody raised the hands. Yes, but.
Yeah, I'm right here. But I mean, go ahead. I can ask next. That's fine.
No, ask now that you're.
No, I just had a very simple question. I don't think I'll be able to make it to your 4-day event at Harrow, but is there like a video recording or a live stream that's available?
No, it's only in person.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Yes,
I'll ask my question now. But how long? I mean, when is a human being reborn? How? Because you said it could take 50 years. Is that?
Nobody. There's no way you can ascertain. It depends on so many factors. So it can be 50 years or 500 years, 5,000 years also. Whenever it is conducive for that embodiment to be reborn, it'll happen. There's no way you can predict.
So what happens in between?
In between is like a phase of sleep, like a dream sleep. It's like that.
Oh, all right. Because I saw in a Buddhist sense that the soul is just escapes the body and it goes around the universe, and other evil souls are trying to perish him, but it somehow fights and then enters.
Don't bring in all the external material here.
Okay.
Whatever fits you, you take. I'm giving explanation.
Thank you.